I don't know what it is. Like, I don't care how many apps, how many different ways there are of keeping track of your time. You see this? I know it's bulky. I know it's huge, right? Look at it. This is literally my vision. This is my heart. This is all my dreams and goals on paper. And I am yet to find an app. I am yet to find a system that allows me to touch and feel my vision in this way. Um, I was going over the vision sequence with someone new today, and every time I do this, even though this is how I live my life, even though this is how I plan my life, every time I introduce it to someone new, I get excited all over again. I relive it all over again because, like I was telling her, it's one thing to create a vision board and you slap it up on the wall and you forget about it. Actually, this vision board may not be the best example because this one is very specific to me and it is words only. It doesn't have any images. I have a vision board on the other side that has some images. Um, but I have transferred the process to my planner. I've transferred the process to paper. So you would have even seen me talk about this. Like, this is the A-list assignment. I literally have this in my planner. Like, I use my own process. Like, I don't just talk about it. I actually do this. I did this in, I want to say I did this in, yes, I did this last month. So I did this in March. And I went through all the affirmations, I went through the prayers, I went through everything. And it just feels good to know that I didn't pick up somebody else's program. And I'm not against coaches because I've hired coaches in the past. Coaches have helped me in so many areas to get to what I'm doing today. But one of the things that I love about this in particular is that it allows me to define and refine my personal vision. So it's not set in stone. It's not as if, okay, well, I made these plans and these are the systems that I have in place, and if none of it works out, or in 3 months I come back to it and it's not working, then I don't know what to do and I have to start from scratch. This actually allows your vision to evolve along with you because, ladies, there are seasons of life that we go through. In this season, you might be single. In another season, you might be walking into marriage. So you are moving from being a woman to a wife. You are changing jobs. You're becoming a mother. Your parents may have passed away. You're changing friendships. You're moving geographic locations. There are all these different things that happen in our lives that cause us to have to sit and reevaluate how we're living and how we're doing things. And if we get so caught up and frustrated with the transition, we never develop a strategy. And the problem that I've found with a lot of the systems, they don't give you the grace for the soul shifting that needs to happen. This is why I talk about the 3 daily appointments: your appointment with God, your appointment with yourself, and then your appointments with others. You literally plan that into your life. This is why I have this planner. Let me go to a blank page so I can show you. All right, so this is April 26th and 27th. I don't have anything written yet. But if you look at this, you'll see there are 24 hours. There are 24 hours on every single daily page because there are 24 hours in a day. You have no more, you have no less. My day can begin at 2 a.m. On some days, it can. So this literally allows me to see my life in full focus, like in reality. A lot of planners, they start at 6 a.m., they start at 5 a.m. Some of us moms, we have to be up before 5 a.m. And there are things that I actually do before 5 a.m. that I want to plan. So if I have a planner that starts at 6, that's not going to work. I don't know what your life is like. So when I provide you with this planner, it now allows you to use every single hour of the day. You might be a nurse who's on night duty, right? And so therefore, maybe you get to work at 2 a.m., right? When everyone else is sleeping. So I love that this works for every single woman. Another thing I was sharing today is that there's some times when I will get up in the middle of the night to do certain things for a season. And so I'm able to plan those things out. Not only am I able to plan those things out, but this also gives me a record. So I can look at 2024. I can look at my daily vision sheets for 2024. I can look at my quarterly sheets for investing in the vision. I can look at what my vision was for last year. What do I want to transfer over to this year? What have I put on the back burner that I can now bring to the forefront because I have 3 months under my belt, almost 4. How am I shifting into the next month to make sure that I'm staying on track with my vision? And vision is not just one thing, it's holistic. So it's, what am I doing in business? What am I doing in my relationship? What am I doing with my home? What am I doing with my children? Um, what improvements do I want to make in my life? What do I want to learn this year? Are there different programs that I want to be involved in? Are there any certifications that I want to get? All these things are part of my personal vision. And because I've written them down, nothing gets lost. And in the times when I'm discouraged, one of my favorite things is that I incorporate daily victories as part of the vision sheet. So at the bottom of the vision sheet, you're going to see a space where it says today's victory. And every single day, I get to fill that out and I get to see that, I'm making progress in certain areas. I get to look back on the blessings in my life. And then there's also at the back of each month, I'll turn to May because I've already started to fill out April, but at the back of each month, you'll see it says victories. So you have somewhere to write down the great things that happened, right? And like I said, with the quarterly sheet, I already filled this out. So let's go to one that is blank. I do plan ahead a lot. So, oh well. Okay, I'm gonna hide what I wrote here. So here we go with the quarterly sheet, investing in the vision, right? Every single quarter, at the beginning of every quarter. So that is October, January, April, and July. I look at my life holistically. I look at the vision. What am I doing? Where do I want to change? I'm not doing this every single week. I'm not doing this every single month. Because here's the thing, we often look for instant results in many areas of our lives. And there are things that took years to get to the point of your frustration, right? And those things are not going to be changed in 2 weeks. You're going to have to give it time. It could be shifting the dynamics of a relationship. It could be trying to lose weight. It could be trying to find a job. There's so many things that we are working on. And I believe a time frame of 3 months, now this is not going to work for everything. There really are some things that happen where in terms of your health, in terms of your emotional state, in terms of your safety, in terms of your finances, where you need to make immediate changes. I'm not talking about those things. Those things are not the day-to-day. I'm talking about the things that you have time and you have space and you have grace to control. And that's the majority of our life, if we are honest. You have the capacity and you have the ability to give that 3 months, 3 solid months of good effort. And at the end of those 3 months, you reevaluate your effort. So we are in April. We are in the second quarter of the year. So you had those first 3 months where maybe you decided on some goals for 2025 and it just didn't pan out. You started out the first 2 weeks, and usually by the third week in January, they have actually done studies that show by the third week in January, the majority of people, the vast majority of people have given up on their goals, and they just go right back into the same old, right? And we want to break out of that. I think one of the things that we forget, one of the things that we don't celebrate is the dissatisfaction and the discomfort. And you're like, why would I celebrate the dissatisfaction and the discomfort? Here's the thing: the dissatisfaction and the discomfort that you feel is your soul telling you that there's better for you, because your soul knows this ain't it. This is not the goal. This is not the thing. This is not what I want. This is not what I deserve. This is not what I desire, and this is definitely not God's best for my life. So the fact that you have the desire for more, the fact that you are not satisfied in the place that you are, does not mean that you're selfish, does not mean that you're greedy, does not mean that you are asking for too much. It means that you are ready for another level. And you should not expect yourself to stay in a certain place for the rest of your life. And it's even if you have a good life, good can get better. And the better state can get better. And that better state can get better. And it can just keep improving. That there is nothing wrong with us seeking to have better if things seem good enough. Right? So for the woman who feels like she's asking for too much, the woman who is also receiving feedback from those around her that makes her feel like she's asking for too much, I want to tell you that you're not. And sometimes people who have settled in their own lives are going to discourage you from wanting more and going after more because they don't see it for themselves. But don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. If someone's telling you that your weight is fine the way it is, but you don't feel healthy. Now, low self-esteem because of your looks is one thing. I'm going to be honest about that. Low self-esteem about your looks is one thing. But if you are genuinely trying to be healthy and strong and live your best life, and you want to lose weight or gain muscle, or take up Pilates or start running or do whatever it is that you want to do, go ahead and do it. And don't let other people's negativity, don't let the naysayers, the unbelievers, whoever it is who is speaking against your vision deter you. You have to use your mouth. And we learn that in quiet. We learn that in private. You have to be able to defend yourself against the old version of you that settled in the past. When you can take your time and curate your own personal vision in private, what happens is when you show up in public, you are certain and you are clear. And you can do what I call articulate your dream. Now, this doesn't mean that you tell everybody all your business. This doesn't mean that every single plan and every thought and every idea that comes to you is to be shared. But it does mean that when someone speaks in opposition to what it is you're trying to build or become, that you can say, respectfully, I hear your opinion. Respectfully, I acknowledge your experience, but that's not the experience I want, and it's not the expectation I have. Your silence also speaks. So if someone says something and you don't speak on it within yourself and you don't speak on it out loud, you have accepted their voice over your vision, and your vision has to speak louder than someone else's perception of what you are able to accomplish or to receive or to build or to do. It absolutely has to speak louder. And that starts with doing the work in private. This is not about, following 10 steps and just get up and go to the gym. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. And I think this is what we forget, that, you don't just make up your mind to do something and then you just get up and do it. There's so many voices at play. There's so many desires, there's so many motives, there's so many things that play into your vision. And sometimes the vision that you think is yours is just an image that you're projecting. So it's working through all those things, working through the voices, working through, who am I really listening to? Am I listening to other people's expectations? Am I listening to a divine prompting? Am I listening to my own ego? All these things have to be considered when you think about your personal vision. Is it really yours? Or is it a performance, right? Are you putting on the expectation of others and then calling it your vision? So I want us to think and rethink and know that it is not too late. Just because it's April and maybe you started the thing but you stopped and you fell off and now you feel disappointed and now you want to kick yourself and you don't know how to restart. Pick it up. Pick it up and start again. And set the same deadline, set the same guideline. December 31st, 2025. What is it that you said that you were going to do by December 31st, 2025? It is not too late for you to achieve those things. There's a book called The 12-Week Year. I haven't personally read it. I've listened to it and I need to listen to it again, but it shows the reader ways that you can compress time and you can work more efficiently and get more done in the time frame of 12 weeks than you would have been able to do in the time frame of 12 months with focus and intention and a strategy. So you've seen people do this. You've seen people finish projects. You've seen people lose weight. You've seen people reach certain goals within a very small time frame because they worked really hard and they were very intentional. So what is it that you are trying to do in your life? What is it that you have been putting off? What is it that you have grown so disappointed in that you stopped trying and you stopped even desiring? I see so many women who are disappointed with life, and they're disappointed to the point where they shut down the desire that they have for the life that they want. And they call it being realistic. And they call it, facing the facts of life, when the fact is that you can pick your life up again. The fact is that once you thought what you thought was dead was actually buried. The fact is that what you thought was done for can actually be revived again. So don't give up. If it didn't work out for the last 3 months, it does not mean that you can't pick it back up or that you can't continue. So I hope this helps. Blessings on your journey, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.